Just like NBA Jam, things are heating up in the NBA as we are days away from the trade deadline and getting closer to the All-Star break. Plenty to talk about around the association, so let's do it with the great writer and podcaster for True Hoop, Jarod Hector, who joins me now. Jarod, how's it going?
Going great, man. Can't complain.
Good. We are close to this trade deadline. So many interesting stuff to talk about. Now, Jarod, Let's start with talking about offense in the NBA, or some individual offensive explosion as we've seen. We've seen some big scoring outputs from Joel Embiid dropping 70 last month and Karl-Anthony Towns scoring 62 in a loss. Whenever we see this occur where a few stars have big scoring outputs in a short period of time, there's always this discussion that starts around the perceived lack of defense in the NBA. What's the real reason that we are seeing individual scoring explosions, and is it actually a lack of defense?
Well, you know, Dexter, people who say lack of defense don't actually watch the NBA because they have no idea what's going on, right? The NBA has never had as much skill as it has right now. I mean, you have fives. You mentioned Karl-Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid. Fives who can bring the ball up and shoot the ball from 30 feet out, right? So imagine I got to guard Joel Embiid out to 30 feet because he can shoot the three, and then he's a monster of a human being that I can't guard in the post because he's too damn big and strong, right? This is the reality that we have. We just have so many offensively skilled players, and defensively, the new rules in terms of freedom of movement and things of that nature have made it harder to play defense. The other issue, Dexter, is refereeing has been inconsistent. I was watching a game where Andrew Nembhard of the Pacers, second-year player, was defending the Celtics' Jaylen Brown. And Andrew's a strong guy. And Jaylen's on offense trying to drive into him with his chest, like as many offensive players do, with their shoulder, to dislodge the defender to move him out of the way. But Jaylen couldn't move him because Andrew's so strong. So he's trying to bump him, move him, and Andrew's just standing his ground, right? Because he's a very good defender. On the way up, Jaylen loses the ball. Referee blows a whistle, foul on Nembhard. And I'm sitting here going, well, how's it a foul? Because Jaylen lost the ball? And yes, that's why he got called for a foul, because Jaylen lost the ball on the way up. But the reason he lost the ball on the way up is not because he was fouled. His hands were not even anywhere near the play. It's because he couldn't get through his chest because he was so strong and he lost the ball. But that is a foul on defense, which to me is insane. At best, it's a no call and you move on. But this is what happens. So refereeing being inconsistent and allowing players more opportunities. I mean, Embiid shoots almost 20-something free throws a game in certain nights, right? So it makes it very hard for defenses to actually play.
No, makes a lot of sense there when you also factor in the inconsistency around officiating. Now, another part of talk around the association is the 65-game threshold for player awards, and there are some stars in danger of not qualifying for certain awards this season. How is this impacting stars across the league, and was the idea to have this threshold, was it actually a good one or not?
I mean, Dexter, this is disingenuous from the NBA at the start. First of all, the league putting out a 65-game minimum is their own way of admitting, yeah, we know our 82-game calendar is too long, but it is what it is, and that's how we make our money, and that's what the owners want and all that. It's nonsense. We might have Joel Embiid, the back-to-back MVP, not qualify because he won't play enough games. And I know we'll get to him later, but this is a way for the NBA to shirk and the owners to push responsibilities off onto the players and play into the narrative of load management. You see, all these players want to do is rest and skip games. Dexter, that is nonsense, and we know that's not true. You talk to players all the time. I talk to players all the time. They don't want to skip games. When they miss games, it is because either A, they're hurt, or because their team tells them, hey, I need you to sit this game because based on the numbers we're seeing on your last couple games, you're looking fatigued, and the chance of your injury rate going up is a problem. Now, the issue is the NBA will tell you, as we know, that load management doesn't lead to less player injury. Now, Dexter, you would think that when the NBA and their study, and I'm using air quotes, comes out that says, oh, load management or rest does not prevent injury, that's a major announcement. You would think the NBA would make a public press conference available where you can talk to the person who led the study, all these various things. Of course, that's not what happened. The NBA leaked it out only to a few select media who basically parroted the press release saying, load management doesn't prevent injuries, and it's just disingenuous all around. And look, the league doesn't care about the players. The owners don't care about the players. It's a conveyor belt. No, I mean, that's all professional sports, right? Next up, who cares? When these guys are done, we'll just find somebody else to fill the spots. And this is crap, and this is going to hurt our league, and we're not protecting the players enough.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see going from this point forward, will this threshold still be in place as we go forward? Will there be changes to it, or what's going on? And that is a fair point about the report that supposedly came out that there wasn't any media questioning on that happened. It was a little bit disappointing in that regard. I want to move on to some basketball, actually, to talk about team playing good here in New York, the New York Knicks. They've won 9 out of 10 games. They are threatening for a top 3 playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Jarod, how good are the Knicks as currently constructed, and have they moved into the space of championship contenders?
Well, New York fans, get excited. Your team is excellent. 6th on defense, 11th on offense, or I might even switch that up. 11th on offense, 6th on defense. Either way, they're phenomenal. They have a profile, Dexter, that suggests they are a deep playoff run team. Things break right, I can see them going to the conference finals. Now, as far as contending, I still think, especially with the Randall injury right now, with the separated shoulder, they lack enough on-ball shot creation. And so I worry about them in the postseason as it gets deeper and deeper, and you've got to play the better teams and beat really good teams best out of 7, right? It's going to be really, really difficult. But look, as they are constructed right now, this team, if they hit the right matchups, I can see them going to the conference finals. They have the profile of a team that can do that, but they're not quite championship caliber yet, so I don't think they have enough on-ball shot creation.
Yo, this is different Jarod Hector energy than the last time you were up here in studio with me on New York Game. I feel like you weren't giving the Knicks fans hope, and now you got them excited. They're going to start liking you again, you know?
Listen, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help the people out.
All right, you're the real MVP here. I see that for sure. All right, news came down earlier last week that Sixers big man Joel Embiid has a lateral meniscus injury in his left knee and will consider surgery. This obviously impacts how good Philadelphia can be on the court, but does it also impact what they will do at the trade deadline?
I mean, yeah, because first of all, I would imagine Daryl probably was thinking about making a move anyway. Daryl Morey, Sixers GM and Vice President of Basketball Operations. But with the Embiid injury now, the question is, what's he going to be like when he comes back? And they're being very hush-hush around it, which, as they should. We don't necessarily need to know what exactly is going on specifically. Look, if he's not healthy and available, they have zero shot of winning the title. We know this. So the question is, do they have a plan where they feel like he'll come back and be ready in time for the postseason to dominate? And if so, what else do they need to pair with him and Maxey? Tobias Harris has been good as a number 3, but do they look for something else somewhere, packaging Batum and some other stuff? I think DeAnthony Melton coming back will help them. But I think they're going to be active at the trade deadline. And if they are not, it would tell me that maybe they know something about Embiid, this season that may not be looking good.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see Sixers a team to keep an eye on at the trade deadline. Last thing for me, Jarod, at the time of this recording, we have 9 teams with 30 or more wins in the NBA, 5 Eastern Conference teams, and 4 Western squads. Right now, who do you have as the best team in basketball? Who is it?
It's tough, and you know me, and you know how I feel about this team. I don't often like to give them a lot of props, but it's the Boston Celtics. I mean, they are outstanding. 1st in offensive rating, 3rd in defensive rating. I mean, they're a phenomenal squad. That top 5 is lethal. I'd still put Denver starting 5 ahead, but what we see that the metrics are this year, and that Denver gets that because they're defending champs. But this team is so good. Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Derek White. There's the thing. When you have those guys on your team, what makes them so good is that because of the defensive capability they have, they don't have to double anybody. Think about that. When those apex predator wings come at you, most teams have to send double teams. Celtics don't. And that makes them so much better defensively, and we know what they can do on offense. Look, they need luck, right? If they lose any one of those top 5 guys to injury, problematic. But Boston right now, best team in the league.
All right, we will see how the Celtics go. Got them as the number 1 team. As we said, moving closer to the trade deadline, All-Star break right around the corner as well. Jarod Hector will have his eyes on everything going on with the NBA for True Hoop. Always good to talk to you, sir. We will talk again soon.
Yes, sir.